Just before the break, we were looking at simple interest. In this segment, we're going to look at compound interest. But just let's quickly recap, get our mind going again. Let's remember the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Let's read this. Simple interest. The calculation of the interest is based on the amount loaned or invested. Compound interest, that's the calculation of the interest, and it's calculated on the current balance. Okay, so we've looked at simple interest where we're calculating the interest on the amount I borrowed. If I borrow 50 Rand for 1 year, my interest is going to be based on that 50 Rand. If I borrow it for 5 years, after year 1, it's based on that 50 Rand. After year 2, it's based on that 50 Rand. After year 3, based on that 50 Rand. Whereas compound interest, we're basing the interest on the current balance. In other words, the amount I borrowed plus interest I've added. Then we calculate the new interest on the new figure and add more interest and get a higher amount. Then we add interest on that higher amount, okay? So the number just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right, let's have a look at an example of compound and simple interest. Mr. Moleki has two options for borrowing some money. His uncle has offered to lend him 16,000 Rand for 5 years at 18% per annum simple interest. His personal bank will lend him 16,000 Rand also for the 5 years, but at 16% interest, compounded per annum. Determine the cost of the two to recommend which one would be best for Mr. Moleki. Okay, now we look at this. Now guys, those who don't understand simple interest and compound interest, these words here, simple interest, let's get a nice color pen going here. Here we go. Simple interest, compound interest, or interest compounded, but they're gonna ignore that. They're not gonna worry about that at all because it's just gonna be a load of garbage. What they are gonna look at it and say is, hey, you know what? My uncle is charging me 18% interest. The bank is only charging me 16%. My uncle doesn't love me. Okay? He's trying to rip me off big time. But you guys out there and you girls out there who do mathematical literacy will say, wait, listen up here. Not only are those figures of 18% and 16% important, but just as important is the type of interest. Are we doing simple interest? Are we looking at compound interest? Okay, so let's try and calculate this quickly. So 18% interest for 5 years, 16,000. Right, so let's do this. We're going to say we're borrowing the 16,000 and our uncle is charging us 18% interest. Okay, so we're going to times it by 18% and we're going to get an answer of, and my calculator is going to do it for me because my brain's not as good, 16,000, in fact my brain's nowhere as near as good, 18%, and voila, the answer is 2,880 Rand. So my interest is 2,880 Rand. So if I take that and I add it to 16,000, I'm now going to get an answer of, so we got interest plus the 16,000. It's now 18,880 Rand that he owes. That's after year 1. Year 2 comes along and we say, right, we've got an amount of 18,880 Rand that we owe the bank. We've already worked out that's 18% of 16,000 is this amount here, the 2,880 Rand. And remember, simple interest, we're always charging the same interest. It's the interest on the amount I borrowed. So the interest for every year is going to be this 2,880. So let's do this quickly. This is getting exciting. Plus 2,880 Rand equals, my calculator comes out, plus 2,880 Rand equals 21,760. 21,760 Rand. Year 3 comes along. We owe 21,760 Rand plus another 2,880 Rand. Again, same interest because the interest is calculated on the amount that I borrowed. So all we're going to do is add another 2,880 Rand, and we're now getting 24,640 Rand. Okay. Again, we just keep going. Year 4 comes along. We now owe the bank 24,640 Rand, or rather our uncle, plus 2,880 Rand. Again, calculator comes out. We got that amount, plus 2,880 Rand equals 27,520. 27,520. And finally, year 5 comes along. 27,520 Rand plus 2,880. And now we add up finally plus 2,880 and we get an answer of 30,400. 30,400 Rand. So my uncle, he gives me 16,000, and at the end of the 5 years, I've got to give him 30,400 Rand. So I look at this and think, yes, like, uncle, you not a nice. I'm rather going to go to the bank because they're only going to charge me 16%. So let's have a look at this. So we say, okay, and I'm going to do it in a different color. Why? Because I want to. Okay, so after year 1, we're borrowing 16,000 Rand from the bank. They come along and they say, we like you. We are not going to charge you 18%. We are only going to charge you 16%. Okay, so let's multiply that by 16% and then we'll add it. Okay, or I could multiply it by 1.16%. I'll explain that to you now. Okay, so let's clear our calculator, and I'm going to say 16,000, multiply that by 16%, and I get an answer here of 2,560. So 2,560. So I look at this and say, hey, uncle, you charged me in my first year 2,880. The bank's only charging me interest of 2,560. The bank is looking good. Okay. But to that, we've got to add the 16,000, and we're going to say plus 16,000 equals 18,560. 18,560 Rand. So that's after year 1. Year 2 comes along and we've got the 18,560. Now we got to find 16%, not of 16,000, but rather of 18,560. Why? Because we're dealing in compound interest, and compound interest, we're calculating the interest on the balance. Now, here's just something I want to show you. I'm going to say multiplied by 1.16%. Why? Or just multiply by 1. In fact, let's make it 116%, shall we? Let's go here quickly. And I'm going to explain to you why I've actually gone and done that. All right. So the reason why I'm saying 116% is the following. This 2,560, that is 16%. Would you agree? And this 16,000 is 100%. So in total, I've got 116%. So instead of calculating the interest of 16% on the amount and then adding the full amount, I can take a shortcut and multiply by 116%. If you're not comfortable doing that, then by all means go ahead and say 18,560 times 16%, get an answer, and add it to your previous answer of 18,560, and just do that the whole time. But if you do understand this method, my goodness, folk, I want to tell you, it's a lot easier. Okay, so let's go. We got 18,560. I'm going to multiply that by 116%. And my answer is going to be 21,529 Rand. 21,500 and, gee, my word, I'm getting old. 21,529,060 cents. Cool. That's how much he owes at the end of year 2. Now let's just stop for a minute. Let's go back and look at our uncle. Our uncle said, after year 1, you will owe me 18,880. The bank says, after year 1, you will only owe me 18,560. The bank is looking very nice. After year 2, your uncle says you're going to owe me 21,760. The bank says you're going to owe me 21,529.60. Bank's still better, but something's happening with the bank's amount of money I'm owing them. Let's have a look quickly at year 3 and see what happens there. So in year 3 now, we have this amount of 21,529 Rand and 60 cents. We're going to multiply it by 116%. Let's do that quickly. Times 116%. And we get an answer of 24,974. 24,974. And then just have a look here quickly at the cents. The cents are 336. Can you see that? But in our money, we don't have 336. We've either got to make it 33 cents or 34 cents. Now that 6 is telling me, wait, make that 3 a 4. So I'm going to say, and 34 cents. I want us now to look at what's happening with our uncle and what's happening with the bank. After year 3, our uncle said, you will owe me 24,640. The bank say, after year 3, you're going to owe me 24,974. Maybe our uncle's not that bad after all, because already the bank is charging us nearly 300 Rand more. Eesh. Let's see what happens now in year 4 and 5. So year 4 comes along, and we've got this 24,974 Rand 34. We're going to multiply it again by 116. So let's just clear this quickly. And I'm going to say I've got 24,974 Rand 34 cents, multiplying by 116% equals, and we land up with 28,970, 28,970 Rand and 23 cents. Can you see? It's 2344, but the 4 is a small little number, so we're going to keep it as 23. Okay, remember our rules about rounding, hey? 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the previous number stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the previous number goes up 1. Okay, year 5, we've got 28,970 Rand and 23 cents. We owe them 16%, okay, and we're going to add it, so it's 116%. There it is. Let's go. 28,970 Rand and 23 cents. Multiply that by 116% equals, and we get 33,605 Rand. 33,605 Rand. And let's have a look at those cents. 466. That 6 makes the previous 6 bigger. So comma 47. Okay. So the bank's saying, okay, buddy, take 16,000 Rand. We'll only charge you 16% interest compound. And you don't quite understand what the compound means, but you just say, yeah, cool, because 16% sounds better than my uncle at 18%. But you guys in mathematical literacy know that compound interest, there's a little red light flashing. It's not always better to go for a higher simple interest. Let's see what happens now. So the bank says, after 5 years, you owe me 33,605 Rand, 47. Your uncle says, after 5 years, you only owe me 30,400 Rand. Guys, that's like 3,205 Rand extra that the bank's charging you, even though it was 16% and your uncle was charging you 18%. Compound interest versus simple interest. Love this question, okay? And folk, remember, when you go to a bank, listen carefully to what that bank manager is offering you. Right, let's have a look here. 20,000 Rand is invested in a bank at 3.5% compound interest. By completing the table, determine the balance in the bank after the 5 years. Now, this is how examiners are beginning to ask this sort of question, where they're giving you a table and you've got to fill it in. So let's have a look here. All right, so we're going to say I've got 20,000 Rand. 1, 2, 3, multiplied by, now it's 3.5% interest. So times 3.5%, and I get an answer of 700 Rand. So after 1 year, 700 Rand, we're going to add that to our 20,000, which we should be able to do in our heads, and I've got 20,700. So 20,700 Rand. So at the beginning of the next year, my balance is 20,700. Now, it's compound interest. My interest is not going to be on the 20,000, but rather on the 20,700. In other words, on the current balance. So out comes my calculator, and I'm going to multiply that now by 3.5%, and I get 724,5. 724,5. Okay, let's just stop there quickly. Remember, folk, in money, we are not looking at comma 5. There's no such thing. Imagine you go into a shop and you say, yes, it looks like a lekker little chocolate. How much is it? And the guy says, rands, comma 5. Not going to know what he's talking about. Okay, if he said 50 cents, makes more sense. So always put that 0 at the end of your money. Okay, got to have 2 decimal places for money. All right, so we've got 20,700. So let's add that plus 20,700 Rand, and I get an answer then of 21,424. 21,400 and what did we say it was? 24 Rand and 50 cents. So at the beginning of that year, I got 21,424 Rand 50 cents. Then we calculate the interest on that, get an answer. Add them together, get another answer, put that answer over here. Find the interest based on that. This one comes from adding both these figures, get an answer. Take that answer, put it in here. Calculate the interest based on that figure. Do you understand? And we could do this for years and years and years and years and years and years. But the important thing to remember is that compound interest is calculated on your current balance, not on the amount that was borrowed. Okay, folk, let's just sum this up quickly, and then we'll take a quick break. So in this segment, we covered the following. We looked at the difference between simple and compound interest, and we've calculated compound interest using various methods. All right, let's take a break, and I'll see you shortly thereafter.